Oh yeah, you guys, here we go. I got my attitude, got my backwards hat on. I wanted to make this video really quick because I was kind of reflecting on a past video that I posted about 9 days ago, and how I looked and how I perceived myself in retrospect. Um, and Who do I like better? Or should I say, who is more in? Yeah, I guess just who do I like better? Even though I'm, still in process. I am a moment in time, so to speak, especially being captured every video. So yeah, this me is a lot more real. Um, you know, Reading about the effects of nicotine on the brain, and the ups and downs, and the my overuse of drinking coffee, um, paired with smoking, and using that to modify and enhance, in my mind, my supernatural abilities. Um, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, how do I feel about that? Me doing that, and the mistakes that regrettably made. Feeling, how do I feel about that? Um, Clearly, specifically, I feel bad, but specifically, the use of supernatural abilities when being modified by, you know, basically drug use, caffeine and nicotine. Um, is that okay? I mean, to the part of me that's, I'm just gonna say no, but I know there's a lot of ethics to that, and clearly we're talking about supernatural stuff. But from my perspective, it's unfair to myself, um, and part of me is kind of upset because I want to practice some of my abilities, and to do so within a measured amount, using caffeine and smoking and stuff like that. But I suppose I just don't have an honest perspective of the other possibility of, and that's something that I'm looking forward to experience. Quitting smoking and progressively cutting off nicotine or caffeine. Um, I'm not doing it all at the same time because I'm barely hanging on with the quitting nicotine. And I have the spiritual people in my life connected to me and helping me, holding me up. And I do sound like I do want to complain, but to be honest, I want to complain about myself, and kind of like a weakness. But people going through addiction, um, of various things, and giving things up, and making realizations of having to give up certain things. It's different for everybody. Even me being a so-called superhero. Um, um, it's only through spiritual means and spiritual prayer. I talk about these women in my life that are helping me. I call them my goddesses. I'm pretty transparent about that. And I it took a lot for me to listen took a lot for me to open up and actually listen to these spiritual followers, if you will. But like I said, watching that video about 9 days ago, I see that version of myself, and I'm just like, well, that guy's kind of alone, you know. I could see the delusion in my eyes, you know. Just I guess I could see myself just fighting for that idea. Just like, man, I'm doing this. I'm doing this alone. Dude, trying to do this superhero thing. Trying to do it. And, you know, I'm still, in a lot of ways, you know, not too different, but I could definitely see the change. And, you know, I feel fortunate and grateful to continue making these changes and keep listening. And you know, this reminds me so much of when I quit drinking alcohol. It's rough. For whatever reason, though, quitting nicotine is. I mean, I remember quitting alcohol and going to therapy and how it took a few weeks. That was. I remember that. But I've definitely broke before with nicotine. I've definitely broken and relapsed several times. But this time, you know, I'm taking steps and precautions, should I say, to prevent relapse. I'm aware of a few techniques and methods, because I am taking it seriously. And like I said, even with spiritual help, I realize that just to be honest with myself. So it is a complicated thing, because having different supernatural transformations, if you will. I mean, I've laughed about this before. We're just like, well, just stay in a supernatural transformation. Just stay in transformation for all of time and never have this addiction issue. Well, it don't work that way. You know, I'm reduced to my Clark Kent form, I should say, or, you know, my mortal form, and it feels like I'm getting my ass kicked. So, and that's when I usually, you know, that's when the relapse happens. I shouldn't be laughing about it, but you know, I am taking it seriously. So yeah. And like giving up these certain things about my life and certain things in my life, being able to say I'm doing it for my goddesses, I'm doing it for these people, I'm doing it for these followers, I'm doing it for these people, is so much more helpful for me, because yeah, just do it for yourself. I don't know. I know I've got some real addictive mindset qualities about me, and I've got plenty of reasons and excuses to keep, you know, doing certain you know, not drug use, I should say, nicotine and, you know, caffeine. That's specifically what I'm talking about. But I don't know, just a weakness of mine. And I know there's a lot of other people with similar weaknesses. And I don't know if it's more or less so, or am I just taking wild guesses at, some of the qualities and some of the I don't know. I'm gonna start talking about. I'm gonna use a word, victimhood, being a victim. Using excuses of saying being a vampire. There are certain addictive qualities that may come with that. It's like who to say, and it's all just excuses, And but anyways, I'm on about day 2, not smoking, and here I am. I'm getting all better and healthy, and being confronted with some of the hardships about myself, which is exactly what I need, because I ain't that younger man I was 9 days ago, with the rock star nasty hair and the beard. No, I'm a little bit different. So, still the holy vampire. And since I'm on the topic of talking about personal stuff, I did want to talk about this. I still, I praise the divine. I'm being very careful about some of my religious beliefs right now, because I am pretty deep in recovery from several things. But I do say praise the goddesses in my life. That's basically my. I want to use this word very loosely, but kind of my lifeline, so to speak, with for recovery. And I'm keeping it that way. My spiritual beliefs, and I don't feel good about that. I'll say that. I'll admit that. But to be honest, I realize that a lot of my... You'll have to forgive me for saying this. Or I know later on when I watch this and I look at this moment, my energy still feels holy. I'm still able to do... I haven't had much reason besides just having a positive energy to do other supernatural things, but of recently, but yeah, making some changes in my life, realizing, listening to these women who I care about me, and try and keep it simple, trying to make it through. So I like it and I don't like it. I love it and I don't love it. So that's where I'm at. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for letting me talk and vent. And I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.